All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into this week's episode of Play by Play. I'm your host, Andy Horton, alongside my co-host, Jared Bergstrom. This is episode number 131, and we're doing things a little bit different this week. As everyone knows, we're in the holiday season, so we're gonna I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna get this done, but we're probably gonna get 2 shows done today, and they're gonna be shorter than normal. But we got to do the regular show this week, and then got to get one done before Christmas next week because MVCC. I mean, I think they're closed all week, aren't they?
If not, they're at least through Wednesday.
At least most of the week, that's for sure. So, yeah, we're going to get to that. So we have a lot to talk about on these 2 shows this week. One, well, I mean, we got college football. We got to talk about the upcoming playoffs. We got to talk about the NFL and the playoff picture and how that's all developing. And then we have to talk about the NBA Cup. That ended last night. And then got to get to the Christmas Day games because those are, I think everyone knows, those are the biggest regular season games in the NBA.
The NBA season.
Yeah, you got to make sure that we talk about all of that this week. So where are we going to start?
Well, since we don't have a lot to talk about recapping college football-wise, we can just start there and kind of, so would they be previewing the college football playoffs, and then if there are any other bowl games maybe that we wanted to talk about that's not a part of the playoffs. Because there were some interesting matchups that aren't there that I could talk about for a minute.
All right, so maybe let's go ahead and start with the non-playoff bowl games.
Okay. One of the first ones I am kind of intrigued to watch will be the Oklahoma-Navy game, seeing how Navy just dominated Army this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like to see if Navy can take it to the SEC now, which I feel like they have a really good chance to against Oklahoma. Oklahoma, their season kind of relied on that Alabama win at the end of the year to see if they were going to make a bowl game or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll be interesting to see how they can, if they can or keep that, or if Navy playing that extra game might help them.
All right. I think, I guess I'll go with you, and I think I'll pick Navy. I think it's probably a bad pick. I think that's a pick I'm probably going to regret. But Oklahoma's really, really bad. And Navy's been good this year. And I'm almost always going to pull for the armed forces. A game that I'm looking at right now, it takes place actually today. The kicks off tonight at 9 o'clock. LA and UNLV, I said LA, excuse me, Cal and UNLV in the Art of Sport LA Bowl, which that's why I said LA. Going to be tonight. This should be an interesting one because Barry Odom, ex-head coach of UNLV, he just got a job, I forget where, but he has jumped ship, and I'm pretty sure he's taken a fair amount of his players with him. So UNLV, I don't think they'll be the team that we're used to we're used to seeing all year. And then we flip things over for Cal, and
I'm kind of surprised Cal got bowl eligible.
Pretty sure that their quarterback is in the transfer portal. So this should be an interesting one for these 2 teams. Let me see. And Barry Odom took the job at Purdue. That's where it was.
Okay.
And he's going to be taking a fair amount of his guys with him.
And yes, Fernando Mendoza entered the portal 10 days ago.
Yeah, so there's going to be
at least they have had some time to practice with the other guy.
Yeah, that's for sure. But so there's a fair amount of turnover for both teams, or maybe not a fair amount, but important turnover for both teams, you know. Who you taking?
So so is he coaching in this bowl game?
Barry Odom?
Yeah. Because if he's not coaching and his players already entered the portal, then I feel like I'm going to take Cal if he took a big part with them. But if he's coaching in this one, I feel like I'll take UNLV. Let me see if he's...
I'm looking. No, Dan Mullen will be the head coach for the LA Bowl.
Then I am taking Cal.
And I agree. Let's see, going through. Ooh, maybe this one will be a good one. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl between Northern Illinois and Fresno. That one's going to take place up on the blue in Boise at Albertson Stadium.
I'm gonna take Northern Illinois. They had that big win over Notre Dame this year. I'm gonna take them.
We might be together on a fair amount of these picks because I was going to pick Northern Illinois as well. The Hawaii Bowl between South Florida and San Jose State.
I'll take USF.
I'm going to take San Jose State. They have the guy who should have won the Biletnikoff Award this year. I cannot believe that. I mean, it's one thing that you give him the Heisman, but you give him the Biletnikoff Award for best wide receiver when Nick Nash had literally won the Triple Crown when it has only happened like 5 times in history.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that he got the Biletnikoff Award is insane. Like, Nick Nash most certainly deserved the Biletnikoff Award. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take San Jose State.
Okay.
Assuming Nick Nash plays, I guess. If he doesn't, oh no, they still have their other wide receiver that plays across from is amazing as well. They got 2 dudes that are great wide receivers there.
Let's see, scrolling through. Here, Texas A&M had a chance to be in the playoffs up to that last week before the regular season. So their bowl is the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl against USC.
You said who?
Texas A&M.
A&M? Ooh. I got to take A&M. I can't trust USC. Here's one, the Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt a lot better than what they were supposed to be. And Georgia Tech, they had some signature games throughout the season.
Florida State to completely mess up their season, and then they beat Miami late in the year.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Georgia Tech.
I'm going to take Vanderbilt. It's so crazy that they have been any good at all this year. And it's hard for me to pick against King up there or down there for Georgia, but for Georgia Tech. But I think the Commodores got a chance.
This one is my favorite bowl. It's only their second time, 2 years in a row hosting bowl, is the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Did you see? If not, I'll show you the video. The trophy actually has a toaster in it.
No.
Pop-Tarts.
Yes. That's awesome. And it's at Camping World Stadium. That's perfect.
What the hell's that? Oh, that's in Orlando?
Yeah.
I wonder if is that like the Disney World complex or whatever? Like, I know they have like a huge sports complex there.
Oh yeah? I didn't know that. I have no clue, but I like the fact that you have the Pop-Tarts at the Camping Bowl. Or at Camping Stadium is what I'm saying.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
Iowa State, Miami. I'm going to take Miami in that one.
Yeah, me too. I just feel like they're going to run the score up so far. We skipped one that I wanted to talk about.
Oh.
The DirecTV Holiday Bowl. Do you know who's playing in that one?
Oh, God. I do, because I just scrolled up to it. Syracuse and Washington State.
I think that could be an entertaining one. Now, John Mateer has entered the portal and is more than likely not playing in the bowl game for Washington State, but they still tend. I mean, Washington State is kind of a pipeline to other places for a great quarterback. So I wonder if they already have the replacement, because last year it was Ward, and who was there, moved up on to the U, and then Mateer had one of the best seasons in all of college football this year. So interested to see if they have his replacement already. I'm going to go ahead and pick Syracuse. I know that's crazy. But it's really the Mateer thing that's making me pick Syracuse.
Right. Here we go. The Valero Alamo.
I knew that was the one you were going to.
BYU. Ooh, that's a Big 12 versus Big 12, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. At the Alamo Bowl versus Colorado. And I hope BYU dog walks them into the ground.
Yeah.
I can't say anything. I'm very, very upset about the Heisman. We don't have to talk a ton about that, but we don't have to.
I'll just say one thing. Travis Hunter won the media Heisman, and
That's what
Genty won the people Heisman.
Yeah, that's what I've seen everywhere pretty much. He won the fan vote. I didn't know that was a thing. I found that out a couple
I
hours.
didn't know there was a
They
fan.
said it, yeah, they said it live on the show, but as soon as they said that Travis won, I turned it off. So I didn't see it initially, but then I saw a clip, and they said that Ashton Genty won the fan vote, and I was like, I ain't got much else to say about that.
All right. How about the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl, Iowa and Missouri?
I'm picking Iowa.
It'll be a very low-scoring game if Iowa wins,
Mm-hmm.
but I will take the Hawkeyes too.
Michigan and Alabama.
Yep, and the ReliaQuest Bowl.
I guess I'm gonna pick Alabama.
Yeah.
Because the only good team that Ohio State can beat this year, or excuse me, that Michigan could beat this year was Ohio State. So.
And see, that's kind of a letdown. I mean, Alabama was on the verge of being considered in one of those last spots for the playoff. So you drop them. I mean, you could have given them the Cheez-It Bowl or the Pop-Tart Bowl. No, you get the ReliaQuest Bowl. Granted, I know none of that matters. It's just sponsorship. But you think you'd put them in a bigger corporate sponsor bowl.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we skipped one, but I want to talk about it anyways. The Wasabi Fenway Bowl, just because it takes place at Fenway. That's awesome. Between UConn and North Carolina. I'm picking North Carolina. They're going from a great college coach to a great NFL coach, and I don't know where his how much his fingerprints will be all over this one, but give me a chance to pick Bill Belichick in his first game being in college. Like I said, I don't know if he's actually coaching yet.
He's not.
He won't be taking over until next year.
And Mac Brown's not coaching this one either.
Oh man.
He was let go at the end of the season.
Well, they already got the aura from the two of them combined there, so I'm picking North Carolina.
Well, then we'll just stick with, since we're playing in baseball fields, we'll talk about the one being played at Yankee Stadium below it, the Bad Boy Mowers Club.
Oh, I didn't know that was okay. I see it now. Yep,
Boston
Yankee Stadium.
College in Nebraska.
I'm a big Matt Rule guy, so I have to pick Nebraska.
I like him too. Hopefully he can get that one. Let's see. There was a couple more.
How about the Cheez-It Bowl? You mentioned the Cheez-It Bowl. So why is it the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl? I don't think that would be a good Cheez-It.
No. They want to make weird combinations. They could have made it the Oreo Citrus Bowl because Oreo has a million.
And that one's at the Camping World Stadium as well.
Is it just all camping snacks? So what? If I scroll down, is the Tracker's Beef Jerky Club going to be there at the Camping World Stadium too?
No, that should be up there in Boise. That's where that one should be, considering they sponsor
that one.
They sponsor our championship game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the old Trapper Mountain West championship game.
Oh.
So which one are we talking about?
The Cheez-It
It's still the Cheez-It Bowl. Yeah. I'm picking South Carolina.
Yeah.
Illinois is barely even a basketball school. I will never trust them when it comes to sports, unless it's a sport that I don't watch, like maybe baseball. Freaking.
They do have a decent
I was
baseball team.
gonna say, I thought they did. So.
We'll go with the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, Duke and Ole Miss.
Hey, that's a great name for a game. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
I'll take Ole Miss.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I gotta take Ole Miss. I'd love to pick Duke. That would be awesome, but I do not trust that one at all.
That's about all I have to talk about. The non-college football players.
Yeah, those are kind of the big ones. Although I do. Oh, wait a minute. We have to talk about it just because of the Mayonnaise Man. Frickin' the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
I must have skipped over
You kind of
it.
skipped over it.
Where's that one at?
It's towards the bottom. Minnesota versus Virginia Tech. I think I'm picking Virginia Tech. I don't know anything about Minnesota this year, and
Then I'll take Minnesota just to disagree on one. All right, so now we can move over to.
I tell you what, I'm just going to mention this final bowl, but
Is it because of the name or the teams?
because of where it's at, frickin' the Bahamas Bowl presented by Atlantis Resorts. I tell you what, how are you just an average kind of crap football team and you get to go to the Bahamas for your bowl game? Like,
Okay, we don't give a crap if we win or not. We get to go to the Bahamas for winter break.
yeah, like that's
Who's in that one?
I guess we'll pick it since we'll talk about it a little bit. Buffalo and Liberty.
I'll take Liberty.
If they still have Caden Salters, if he hasn't entered the transfer, that's a guy's name, right?
I think so.
Oh, he's transferring to Colorado.
Oh, is that official? I saw.
3 hours ago.
Oh. I'm taking Buffalo.
Yeah, I was going to pick Liberty, but you know what? I'm still going to pick Liberty because they who's the guy? He's a backup in the league now. That Liberty had before Salters. They're able to find athletic dudes who can sling the ball around a little bit, and he's able to carry. Those quarterbacks are often able to carry that team. Malik Willis. There you go. I was gonna say, those guys are often able to carry that team to at least being okay. So I'm gonna say that they probably have a very athletic backup for him, who's gonna be able to score touchdowns.
All right, so now we can move over to the college football playoff. We talked about the matchups last week. This week we'll actually pick them. Let's see. Let's start with the one that is this Friday. That'll be the Indiana Hoosiers taking on Notre Dame in the Battle of Indiana.
This one's tough for me because I do like Cignetti and I hate Notre Dame, but Indiana is very soft and it's getting colder, and they only played one good team and they got their socks blown off. I'm going to pick Notre Dame, but I don't feel good about it.
I agree. I feel like Riley Leonard can really take a hold of this game really quickly. I mean, we've seen what he can do running the ball this year when he was limited and not shut down, but very limited on his passing games this year where he was limited. He took off and he had like multiple games. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, I think, where he was under like 300 yards passing. So I feel like if they could stop, Indiana could probably stop one aspect of Riley Leonard's game, but not both.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, College Game Day will be there for that one, and then they're going to go to Ohio State the next day for that game. So we're going to hear Kirk call an Ohio State game finally in 2 years.
There you go.
Because Big Noon Kickoff has ruined college football and all that. Buying their time slot for noon for these games, like Ohio State and Indiana and Ohio State Penn State shouldn't have been at noon. Those should have been night games. Those are primetime games.
Oh, not the Indiana game. I completely disagree with that.
Well, not with the outcome, but I mean everybody else wanted.
And like you would have wanted the Penn State game to be like that, but then there was 13 points scored in the game. I mean, I don't know. It was actually what 23, but it was a terrible football game.
Yeah. And then moving on to the next day, and this is. The Penn State game, SMU, that's a noon game on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're kind of taking the aspect of the only thing that Penn State has relying around them is those whiteouts at night that really gets the stadium into it. You're kind of taking that away from them, playing them at noon.
I don't care. I really don't care.
So who are you taking to SMU Penn State?
You know, I really like what Kevin Jennings has done this year. He's got over 3,000 passing yards, 22 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He's only been sacked 11 times. So he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's pretty efficient with 66% completion percentage. And he doesn't, he doesn't hurt his team by throwing interceptions a lot or by taking sacks. He's a very athletic guy. He ran for almost 400 rushing yards and another 5 touchdowns this year. Bernard Smith, a pretty good running back, over 1,200 yards on the season, average almost 6 yards a carry. So they got some dudes. And then when you look at their receiving core, you got Roderick Daniels Jr. and Keyshawn Smith, Jordan Hudson. Those 3 guys combined for 13 touchdowns and over 100 catches. They got some guys. That being said, I just feel like they're not going to have an answer for Tyler Warren and for everything that Penn State offense can throw at you. I mean, it's Tyler Warren. They got
for most.
yeah, and then they got two really good backs coming out of the backfield, and then Drew Aller is a lot more escapable than what we're used to seeing out of Penn State quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I mean, what are you going to do to stop the best tight end in college football, and the best tight end that we've seen in a long time? But Katron Allen and Nick Singleton combined for over 1,600 yards and 13 touchdowns. Very efficient. Drew Aller completing almost 70% of his passes this past year, and then had a 1,000-yard tight end in college. What the heck? He had
receiving or
88 receptions for 1,062 yards and 6 touchdowns. And yeah, you're right.
He had 17 receptions against USC.
And you're right that he also has almost 200 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns.
Okay.
I
thought he had more rushing yards.
191.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, he could line. I mean, Warren is like I said, I think a couple weeks ago, I compared him to Taysom Hill because he can line up in the backfield, take it, throw it, hand it off. He can do any of that stuff.
Yeah, and then I talked about how good and what a good athlete Jennings is for the quarterback for SMU. But then, I talked about how he doesn't make mistakes, but I think Abdul Carter might be able to force him into a mistake or two.
Right.
10 sacks coming into this game. Danny Dennis Sutton, second on the team with only 4 sacks. Still, he's able to get in the backfield, and he's a good run stopper and all. Gotta be able to try to slow those guys down or something. I think it's going to be really tough for SMU, so I think I'm going to pick Penn State.
I think so too. And we saw in the Big Ten championship game, like you said, Aller's escapability has gotten better, especially over the year, has gotten for him. So it's hard to contain him, and if he can hit Warren or Jennings out of the backfield on a scramble, it could be a long, I was going to say night, but it'll be a long day for SMU.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit of foreshadowing to the next week. If that is how this thing plays out, I am terrified of Tyler Warren for the Boise State game next week. But if we could find a way to put the clamps on him, I think we'd have a pretty good chance of winning that thing. Like, we're good at getting after the quarterback, even athletic quarterbacks. We're good at getting after them.
Second, you guys contained Gabriel in his game.
Yeah, second or third in the league or in all of college football in sacks. So we'll have to see if Boise State will be able to put enough pressure on Penn State, assuming that's the matchup.
Next one on Saturday's slate is Clemson at Texas. I don't know how I feel about this game. I feel like if this was the game, if you told me this was the matchup at the beginning of the year, I would have said Texas hands down without a doubt. But it's just, I don't know. It's just Quinn Ewers has gotten progressively worse from the beginning of the year to this year, or to the end of the year. And I don't know if Shark's got to do something. I think he's got to work more packages in there with Arch Manning.
Mm-hmm.
And there was glimmers of hope in certain games this year where that happened. But then they go back to Quinn Ewers, and he will sit there and he will take a 15-yard sack, it seems like, trying to force a play.
Yeah, I will talk more about Quinn Ewers after I give my take on the game and the pick.
Okay.
Because I think there's a very interesting situation that it's not going to happen but could go down. Very funny.
Okay.
I think, so this one is tough for me because I say on the show all the time, I've been rooting for Clemson since they had C.J. Spiller way back in the day. And then my uncle is from Texas and was a big Texas fan. And so I've always kind of had a soft spot. Colt McCoy was my guy when I was a kid. I loved watching him.
Okay.
And when he got hurt and they almost came back and won that national championship game, I was losing my mind up in my room because I was a kid. I wasn't allowed to watch the game. It was too late. I had to listen to it on the radio. So this is a tough one for me because I really like watching both of these two teams. And they've both had their struggles this year. The first game of the season,
Oh, Clemson got dog
Clemson
by Georgia.
nearly got blanked by Georgia. I mean, they beat the
They had a
hell
field
out of
goal.
them.
It's like 52-3, I think.
Yeah, they beat the hell out of them. And it really took them a quarter of the season, half the season to really get going. And then their offense has been really, really good, like most of the year. But then they dropped the ball in the second half against SMU.
Yeah.
They had a chance to kick SMU out of the playoffs and to win that game by 70. And, well, actually, I guess it was only
They were up
17 at halftime. Okay. So, but they easily could have won it by 30. And instead, they dropped the ball and just kind of let SMU come back in the game. And then Texas, they haven't looked good all year because Quinn has just not been the guy that he was last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to pick Dabo and Clemson. But, and it's because of what, like, I'm so scared is not the right word, but I don't know what to expect out of Quinn Ewers.
Right.
Like, he went from last year being one of the best quarterbacks and one of the best years for quarterbacks in college football that we've ever seen. And this year, we still have a ton of great quarterbacks, but he has regressed so far. I think if he would have left last year, he's easily a first-round pick.
Right.
And he's now being graded as a third. Yeah, so he can't leave college, okay? And this is that situation that could potentially be hilarious that I wanted to talk about. He cannot leave if he's going to be a third-round pick. Like, he's going to have to stay in college. But he can't stay at Texas because they're not going to make Arch sit another year. Like, Arch won't do it, I don't think. I think he'll leave and go play somewhere else if they try to make him sit another year. Well, there is a school that has lost 2 quarterbacks to the transfer portal, and Quinn Ewers used to go there. That might maybe be looking for a quarterback. You know, I think you might know who I'm talking about, Jared. So how funny would it be for Quinn Ewers to turn around and go back to Ohio State? Because there's no way that they're letting him stay in Texas, at least in my opinion. And then the only other guy that you guys really got there for Ohio State is Julian Sand, right? Because Brown entered the portal, and a day or so later, what's his name entered the portal? Aaron Nolan. Yeah. So
it's either going to, well.
Would you take Quinn back?
Not from last year to this year. I don't know if I'd want that regression back. And Ohio State has, what's that kid's name? Coming in, he looks pretty good. He goes to, I think.
You never have too many quarterbacks, though.
That is true. Tavion St. Clair out of Bell Fountain.
I mean, ask Ohio State fans about that, you know.
Yeah.
They only took 7 of them to win the title that one year.
They all got hurt.
Well,
but
hey, you had more behind them.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why they won.
Yeah.
So, at least guys that were talented enough to be able to make enough throws to get you guys across the finish line.
And I don't disagree with anything you said about Texas, but I think Texas has the better defense, and I think I'm just going to rely on that in this game because you don't know what Cade Klubnik you're going to get. Is it going to be the Klubnik from the Georgia game, or is it going to be the first half against SMU? So hopefully Shark makes the right decision and puts Manning in there more because I feel like if they lose to Texas at home, the crowd might start booing him a lot sooner, and they might throw a lot more than just water bottles on the field.
Yeah, they will definitely be upset down there it's in Austin, right? Yeah, they'll be very upset down there if they don't get the win. I don't know if it happens, man. And it's tough for me to say that because, like, at the beginning of the year, I was like,
they got Texas at 12. I would definitely not take that.
I was like, so you say what?
Texas minus 12.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to say that. I don't think Texas is going to win this game because I've been on the bandwagon all year. I was like, you know, I thought coming in that they were going to be the best team in college football, and they haven't been. I mean, And I'm not saying that because they lost 2 games to Georgia, who is probably the best program in the country, but it's how they've looked when they've played Georgia, and it's just not been convincing, and like at all.
And then they struggled with Vandy. They struggled with South Carolina. The first half they struggled with Kentucky. So it's like it's not Texas was not. They were not performing well in games they should have easily won.
Yeah.
So I will, like I said, I'll take Texas just to disagree because we agreed on the first 2. And then the nightcap will be Tennessee at Ohio State. I mean, I'm going to pick Ohio State.
This one's tough for me.
How's it tough for you? You don't like Ohio State.
That doesn't mean that just because I don't like a team doesn't mean that I'm picking against them. I do not like the Steelers. I've picked them a lot this year.
That is true.
And shoot, I don't like Ohio State. No, outside of like 2 games, I've picked them. They're a good team. The question is, has it been long enough, or have they been able to do enough to get the sting of that Michigan loss out of their mind? And they have to hope and pray that Tennessee didn't steal Michigan's jerseys. Because if they stole Michigan's jerseys, Tennessee by 100. But if not, then it should be a close one. I've been saying a good chunk of the year that I felt like you guys were probably going to win one, but not be able to really go on a run or anything. So I guess I'll say you beat Tennessee. And the winner of that one plays
Gets Oregon.
Oregon. Oh.
Yeah.
See, I don't like that because it's tough to beat a team twice in a row, and I'm rooting for Oregon, man. Like,
yeah,
I'm big rooting for Oregon. So
the only thing I can say is, if as long as Tennessee's coach just doesn't come out and say that Ohio State is soft and all that.
You think the Buckeyes got a chance?
Yeah, because if not, then Ryan Day's going to come out and try to prove that he can run the damn ball. No, don't run the damn ball. You have this team is built around. Look at they got Mbuka, they got Tate, they got Jeremiah Smith, they got G. Scott. You are built for passing. I go, yes, you do have arguably one of the better backfields in the country, but they can catch the ball coming out of the backfield too with Junkins and Henderson. So don't put yourself like you did in the Michigan game, and just, let's run the ball and win the battle up front. No, if you have the chance to throw a 50-yard bomb to Smith, do it. And if they double team him, he proved this year many times that he can go up and fight for a ball and come down with it.
I'd say don't do it, just because I always love it when the Buckeyes lose and I get to see their fans cry, but
I don't cry. There's a lot of other words coming out of my mouth than crying.
I know. I receive those text messages. So, okay, I guess since we won't be here before the quarterfinals, right? Let's do some potential picks.
Okay, I was about to say we could maybe do one next Friday, like a short version. Next Friday.
Okay, let's do it, and then if we're able to get in here, then we got it.
Okay.
Then we have extra content.
All right, so you've got Clemson versus Arizona State in the second round.
I'm picking Clemson, not even questioning. I'm picking whoever wins.
Yeah, and then I have Texas and Arizona State, and I would take. And you said you're picking whoever over Arizona State.
Yes.
Okay. So we both have Ohio State versus Oregon. Oregon is just, they are the team to beat this year, and I don't see anybody beating them.
Well, and like as good as Smith and G. Scott and all those different, and Mbuka, all those different wide receivers, Oregon also got some dudes, man. You know?
Yeah. And I think really the only reason that the Ohio State game against Oregon was close, the first time,
I don't know if a lot of people forget, but Tez Johnson was kicked out of that game in the second quarter for spitting on an Ohio State player.
Oh, yeah.
So he did not play in that second half. So Ohio State did not have to defend their number one receiver.
I totally forgot about that. But, yeah, so they got their own guys. When you look at Tez Johnson and, had 866 yards, 10 touchdowns this year. Evan Stewart, 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. Trayshawn Holden, another dude, really good, over 600 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then Terrence Ferguson, very good tight end, had 38 catches, 520 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I think that's Jake Ferguson's younger brother from Michigan.
Oh, yeah?
I believe so.
Oh, you might be right. They look, he looks kind of like him. Hang on.
And then on the other, you looked that up. Dylan Gabriel can tuck the ball and run too. We've seen him do that a lot this year. He's very smart with his running abilities and when to run and when not to run. He's very good at reading the defense. So Gabriel, and he's good on that RPO. I don't know how many times this year I saw him pull it, and instead of what might have been like a 7-8 yard gain for the running back, he turned into 15-20 the other way. So Gabriel is kind of like Riley Leonard in this game for Oregon, like Notre Dame. Gabriel will control this game the whole time. And that's why I am picking, or I would pick Oregon to beat Ohio State that game too. I kind of feel like you're on that same boat.
You said what game?
The Oregon-Ohio State game.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely picking
Okay.
Oregon. Yes, and they also have another brother who is in the NFL named Blake Ferguson. He's a long snapper for the Dolphins. So, very talented family. Yeah, this team is so versatile. And, yeah, guess what? I didn't even get to talk about Jordan James or Noah Whittington. And Jordan James, outside of Genty, might be my favorite back in all the country. He doesn't have the world's craziest stats, 15 touchdowns, over 1,250 yards, averaging almost over 5.5 yards a carry. But, man, I swear, it's like every time he touches the ball, it's 5 yards. He doesn't have negative runs. He doesn't have 1 or 2 yard runs. And he doesn't have, an 80-yard run this season. His long is for 41. But every time the guy touches the ball, you're guaranteed 4 yards and you're moving the chains. He's a perfect back. I love watching Jordan James.
Mm-hmm.
As talented as Ohio State is,
And I know,
defense.
like you said, yes, like you said, it's hard to beat the same team twice in a year, especially with it was a one-possession game the first time, and this is a neutral site. It's not really that neutral. It's at the Rose Bowl. So Oregon fans base is going to travel for that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we got the Verbo Fiesta Bowl.
Although, I will say, I think everyone knows that Ohio State fans also travel very well.
A lot of them did make that trip to Eugene, and that was
well. And I was
impressive.
going to say the Rose Bowl. Every time they're in the Rose Bowl,
yeah. That's always a Big Ten.
Pretty good showing.
Yeah.
And it's normally either like Wisconsin, Ohio State, or Michigan. And that's a long travel for all of those fans.
Yeah. All right, Boise State, and we got them playing Penn State. I don't have much to say about the game. I'm taking Boise State.
Me too. I do not trust Penn State, and we're kind of in our second home down in Glendale, Arizona, playing.
Oh, that's where that one is.
The Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Oh, buddy.
See, get rid of that. Go back to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
1,000%. 1,000%. Tostitos is. It's called Verbo. It's still in my mind the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. And yeah, I think Boise State is 2-0 in games down there in that stadium. I'm looking for us to advance to 3-0 and for Ashton Genty to break the all-time rushing record.
All right. So the Sugar Bowl, we both have Notre Dame beating Indiana going up against Georgia.
And do we even have to say, I don't see any way on this Earth, on the moon, on Mars, on Venus, pick your location. I don't understand how Notre Dame could beat Georgia. With or without the quarterback, with or without Beck, don't care. Georgia, they're the best football organization in the country. I can see by the look in your eyes you disagree with me. One of us is picking Notre Dame? What is going on?
I filled out my Capital One bracket last week when this was announced, and I picked Boise playing in the finals. And I think the only way they can get to the finals is if Notre Dame's got to upset Georgia and then they beat Notre Dame.
Well, I would be the happiest dude in the world if somehow that happened. I just don't see it happening.
All right.
But hey, we've beat Georgia before.
When you guys played Georgia?
It was like 2015, something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We beat their pants off too. I mean, it was not.
Was that before Kirby Smart? Or maybe he first got there?
I think it was like the year before Kirby, actually.
Okay.
Funny enough.
All right. All right, so then we will definitely be back before the semifinals, so we don't have to talk about that. All right, so does that mean we want to move over to talking about this past week of the NFL and then playoff?
Yes.
What is it called? Standings or scenario, whatever
Yeah.
it's called.
Yes. Do the playoff picture. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, so let me pull up the scores from last week.
There was some wild ones.
We'll just start with the wildest one of last week. I feel like that was the first touchdownless game since 2017 with the Rams and the Niners.
Okay, well, I don't have a ton on that one.
I don't either. I just was saying.
I didn't watch 1 second of that game.
I didn't either.
My uncle texted me at the end of the first quarter and said there was 7 punts, and I was getting ready to turn it on right before he said that. And then I said, oh, well, thank you. I do not have to waste my time.
No, I was at the casino, and I looked up, and I was like, I looked at my watch and said, all the game's on. I looked up, and I saw that same graphic. I was like, oh, I don't care.
Your guy Kyron Williams still had a pretty good game, though.
Yeah.
I tell you
Help me
what.
win this week, or not win this week, but take a lead in the playoff race with me and Jeff for the first week.
I guess good thing I wasn't in the playoffs this week because I didn't have it this year because I didn't have a terrible week. But Puka Nacua took all of Cooper Kupp's targets and all of his receptions. Puka didn't even have a great game. All 7 of his
catches?
But, Cooper did 0 for 0.
Oh.
Yes. I was very sad.
Dang.
And I had Jerry Jeudy sitting on my bench.
Did he have a good game? I didn't really.
Jerry Jeudy had a good game every single game that
he was on your bench.
That his quarterback has been.
Oh, I see it now.
Jameis Winston.
11 for 108.
Yeah. I guess we can move on down to that one. Not that I actually want to talk about the game.
I don't either.
I'm just sad that they benched Jameis.
Who are they going with then?
DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
God.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about that one.
No.
We can just slide on down to the Bengals game.
Why? Because it goes in that order?
Yes. Somehow, that game was only 10 points. That should have been, we should have won that game by at least 40, in my humble opinion.
Oh, God. I didn't even realize. I was watching it at work, and I saw it was it 24-14 at half? I never went back because I figured the Bengals I never paid attention walking back by the TV. I figured the Bengals had a grasp on that game.
Well, Will Levis threw 3 interceptions. Mason Rudolph threw
another
one. Oh,
in a row.
In a row, too?
And it was 4 interceptions in a row.
That was working.
Mason Rudolph, it was all in the first half. Mason Rudolph threw a first, I don't know if it was his first pass, but it was 4 straight interceptions by the Titans.
That's rough.
Yeah.
A touchdown was taken off the board because Jordan Battle. I'm not mad. I wish he wouldn't have fumbled it, but it's different from he's trying to showboat, right, and he loses it. He was just literally trying to move it from his left hand to his right hand.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like he was trying to be slick and, I'm going to drop it right as I cross the line. It's not that, so I'm less upset about it. He was actually just doing.
Yeah.
Maybe he shouldn't have tried to switch hands.
Yeah, just hold on to it.
But
here you
it's
go,
not
ref.
like he was showboating and being stupid. He
Right.
just made a mistake by accident.
The most infamous one is Deshaun Jackson on that. He had an 85-yard touchdown and set it down right at the one against Dallas, and they picked it up and returned it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they fumbled there was 2 more fumbles on top of that. You would
One
have
was returned for a
you
touchdown,
would have
wasn't
thought that the Bengals defense was just lights out, but no, it's just the Titans are so incredibly
bad.
bad. And like I feel bad.
it? We make fun of Caleb Williams all the time, but we got to start making fun of the Titans more, I feel like.
I make fun of Caleb Williams because it's fun. The Titans are just kind of depressing.
Yeah. I did see that Caleb Williams has been sacked 58 times this year.
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
He's been
It's like,
getting
God, I mean, I don't like him,
getting mugged.
but I mean, you got to give him some sort of chance before you just write him off.
Yeah, and so then did you see the John Boy guys doing the guy who does the lip reading? Well, I guess before I ask that, did you see Burrow was yelling at Taylor on the sideline? Well, he was yelling at Taylor on the sideline very close to the end of the game. And the John Boy media guys who do the lip reading
Yeah.
for all the baseball fights, they did the lip reading for this. Thank you, guys. I love it. And so pretty much what was happening was Zach Taylor wanted for us to just run the ball and try to run the clock out, in large part because Callahan, the Titans head coach, was our OC last year.
Okay.
So
yeah.
he's his buddy, and he didn't want to make him look bad and run up the score on him. And so it seems as though he was kind of chastising the offense a little bit, like, hey, there was no need to do that, or whatever, something to that effect. You couldn't see Zach Taylor's face, but you saw Joe Burrow's response. The camera was looking right at him, and he was just not happy about how the Bengals played in total, like, that day. He's like, dude, like, I won't just up and say what he said. You guys can go watch it yourself. But he was like, we played like crap, and we gotta be better, freaking. And he was just frustrated about the fact that we played like garbage, and we're still 6-8. We should have won by 80, freaking. I understand why Burrow was frustrated and all, and maybe, hopefully, as a Bengals fan, that's gonna maybe be the start of the hot seat for Zach Taylor. I mean, the seat should have been hot a long time ago, but
Yeah.
with the Browns, you just never really know when they're gonna do something, and hopefully that maybe seeing Burrow yell at him is gonna do something. Do something. All that being said, I sent you a graphic. We can maybe talk about, since we're talking about the Bengals, we'll just throw it right here in the middle. It's not over for them somehow. I've been making fun of all the Bengals fans that have been saying for the last month that, oh, we still got a chance. We still got a chance. We still
Yeah.
got a chance. I've been making fun of them a lot here on the show. I think most people have seen that. And, well, what do you know, boys and girls? They still got a chance. Pulling up the graphic right now for me to look at.
First off, it starts out with the Bengals got to win out.
Yes, the Bengals have to win out. And
Browns,
that's the Browns, the Broncos, and the Steelers. And then either need
2 out of the 3 are at home.
the Broncos or the Chargers to lose out.
All right,
to
hold
lose
on.
their
Let
last 3.
me pull up the Broncos schedule. They have the
It's the
Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs.
Yes, and then the Chargers have the Broncos, Patriots, Raiders. So I think the Broncos are much more likely to lose all of those games.
But they only have to lose 1, right?
No, they have to lose all of them.
Oh, they have to lose all.
They have
okay.
to lose all of them. Either of those 2 teams have to lose all 3. That's why, like, I don't see the Chargers. I mean, it would be all-time chargering if they somehow lost to the Patriots and the Raiders.
Back-to-back weeks.
Last week, 2
Yeah.
weeks of the season.
Well, hell.
To miss the playoffs.
We haven't talked about it yet, but I mean, I didn't think that the Bakers were going to put a 40 burger on them, or the Buccaneers. I don't know why I called them the Bakers this past week, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, that's a lot. You're asking a lot for them to lose to the Patriots and
It is.
the Raiders.
Yes.
And then the Bengals, the other thing that the Bengals need is still 1 loss from the Dolphins and the Colts. The Dolphins' last 3 games are the Niners, the Browns, and the Jets.
They should lose one of those 2.
And then the Colts' last 3 games are Texans, Giants, Jags.
We got the Titans.
Oh,
You said Texans. We already lost
Oh
to
yeah,
Texans
my
twice.
bad, my bad. Titans,
Giants,
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
I don't think it's likely, but the window is actually still
Cracked.
barely cracked.
It's cracked.
Barely cracked.
It's like a jail cell crack. Like you could open it that much to get fresh air, but
Just where you can just barely feel the cold air rushing in.
if it happens, I mean, hey, if it happens, then the Bengals would play the. Well, that means they probably play the Bills in the first round.
Yeah, we would definitely play the Bills in the first one. That would be interesting.
Ooh.
But I was talking to my buddy.
Hey, nobody plays defense on those two teams.
I was talking to my buddy at Walmart, who's a Broncos fan, and I was like, I root for the Broncos.
Yeah.
And I have since Tebow and Manning were there. But I mean, if it happens, I think we're the only team that the Chiefs are actually afraid of. And it's like, I think we're the only teams that can actually beat the Chiefs. So, after how awful of a football season this has been, there's 1% chance that the Bengals can still make this thing happen. And if they make the playoffs, I'm not picking against them. Not unless it is the Chiefs. And then we'll see.
Even then, I don't know if I'd want to. I mean,
So here's the thing. We can't stop a soul, but no one can stop us either.
right. I mean, you'll have to win one of those 38, 35 games that you've lost all the rest of them this year.
Yeah. We'll have to see if we can do it. Maybe. Because I guess that could all come to an end. Don't the Broncos play on Thursday? Yeah, I think the Broncos and the
Chargers.
Chargers play on Thursday night. So
So I guess we'll know by
if the
tomorrow.
Chargers win the game, I don't think it's going to happen.
You said the Chargers or Broncos have to lose
me.
out.
If the Broncos win the game, I don't think it's going to happen.
Right, because the Chargers aren't going to lose to the Patriots and the Raiders.
Yeah.
So you got to root for the Chargers 3 weeks.
Ain't that weird?
Yeah.
Ain't that weird? But no, I don't have to root for the Chargers. I just have to root for the Broncos to lose. So I'm rooting for the Chargers this week.
Yeah.
And after that, I'm rooting for the Bengals. And then I'm not really rooting for the Chiefs. You would just think that the Chiefs would find a way to win that game.
Even with their backups, because they'll probably rest everybody because they got everything clinched.
Yeah. Or I could actually see them intentionally losing that game because they are afraid of Cincinnati.
But wouldn't they want to win that one to keep the first round bye?
Do the Bills still don't they have everything clinched? Didn't you just say that?
They have the division clinched. I don't know if they have the first round bye clinched. Yeah, the Chiefs only have the division clinched.
They have a 2-game lead on them with 3 games to go. They have a 2-game lead. They're not going to lose 2 out of the last 3.
Who they got?
They play
Texans, Steelers, Broncos. I could see them losing 2 of those games.
good, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't trust the Steelers against the.
They're both away.
Don't care.
All right, so where does that leave us? Where did we leave off? Commander Saints, they went for a gamble, tried to go for 2 points and win the game, didn't get it. Lamar throws for 5 touchdowns against the Giants.
Well, and then you skip down a couple, because I don't care to talk about all of these games, but what might have been the game of the year with the Bills and the Lions.
We're just skipping down a lot.
Yeah. I'm so sad about the Lions.
I said last week they needed a loss to get their mind straight for the playoffs.
I know, but they've also lost so
Oh,
many
yeah.
dudes.
Losing
22
Gibbs.
guys. No. Montgomery.
Montgomery, sorry.
22 guys.
You have them both, so I knew I was picking one of them.
No. I have St. Brown.
Oh, I thought you had both their running backs
No.
for some reason.
I wouldn't be upset with that one either. Number of players, I don't think I sent this one to you. I'll send it to you and you can put it up in post. The number of players on IR/PUP/out for each NFL team. Any guess for the Lions?
35.
Oh, that's way too many.
Way too many? Okay. 22.
Yes.
Hey, all right.
You know the next closest?
Who is it?
The Browns.
13.
18.
Damn.
And then at 15 is the Dolphins and the Giants, and then 14 is the Bengals and the Niners. It's like
So who's the lowest?
the lowest is the Bills.
With what, 2?
3.
3?
But you can kind of see the Bills have had a healthy year, and the Bills have been amazing.
Yep.
And you look at, and you can say the same about the Broncos and the.
Oh, is that another low one?
Yeah, the Broncos have 4, and then
Okay.
at 5, the Green Bay and the Vikings. Like you kind of look at and see who the good teams are in general, not 100%, but in general, the teams that have less injuries are the better teams.
Yeah.
And then at 7, Philly, Washington, and the Seahawks.
So
those are all playoff teams.
Potential teams.
The bottom 7 teams with injuries all should make the playoffs. And then at 8, then it starts to mix up with the Jags and the Patriots. But the other 2 teams at 8 are LA and Baltimore.
Mm.
It's almost like having your best players matters to most teams.
Right.
Unless you're the Lions. They just find a way every week. But all that being said, I think that at some point
I still
it's
think
too
that's
much.
the Super Bowl matchup.
At some point, dude, I just think it's too much. I love this Lions team. It's been so fun to watch them all year long. I think they're going to lose. Just because I'm not saying this week, but I just think all the injuries, it's too much.
We'll see. They've definitely embraced that next man up mentality. And I'm not going to say it's not for lack of Dan Campbell probably doesn't not get him hyped up enough. He probably,
Say to what, man?
I mean, all besides of shooting him up full of coke, I mean, he probably gets him pretty hyped.
Yeah, love me some MCDC. Hopefully he can power that team to the Super Bowl. But I'm running out of hope.
The Eagles, they won by 14 over Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like Pittsburgh is kind of retreating at the wrong time.
I mean, they definitely have played the tougher part of their schedule here in the second half of the year.
I haven't even realized. I guess who have they played the last couple of weeks?
Well, let's just start with the Commanders, Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Browns, Eagles.
Okay.
So, like the Browns, not good. Every other team in there.
Oh.
Like the Bengals have not been good this year, but they are a very talented football team.
I just looked at the rest of their schedule.
Yeah.
Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. They could very well lose out.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where that would put them.
That would put them in the wild card.
Are they not in the wild card already?
No.
Are they leading division technically?
Yeah.
Oh.
Baltimore only has 9 wins.
Oh, okay. We kind of talked about it. Mayfield, God, threw 4 touchdowns against. Mike Evans had a hell of a game, 9 for 160 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I think as great as Jim Harbaugh is, he cannot erase all of the charging in 1 year.
No.
They're just going to have things that doesn't make sense.
And injuries too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just going to have things that don't make sense from time to time, and it's just.
Hey, he's already
It's
got
San
him
Diego,
in 8 wins.
man. Or LA now, but still, it's the Chargers. Them
Yeah.
Superchargers, there's something super weird about them.
Anything else? I mean, the Green Bay went into the 12th man and quieted them down. Sam Darnold beats the Bears again. You know the Bears have as many losses as the rest of the NFC North does.
Wow.
Or no, sorry. The rest of the NFC North has 2 less losses than the Bears do total.
Wow. That's
Falcons win and bench Kirk Cousins.
yeah. Hey man, I thought it was crazy when they were talking about not playing Michael Penix on the rookie contract. I think they should have gone to him a couple weeks ago. That's my guy. I hope he's able to play well.
Yeah, as soon as he started, as Kirk Cousins, I mean,
9 interceptions in the last 3 games.
yeah, I would have at least had some plays drawn up for Penix to come in after that first 4 interception game, and then he did another 4 interception game. It's like, all right, Raheem, what the hell are you doing? But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't know, who does Atlanta play this week? Just curiosity. Click over there. Atlanta play. What are all these weird? Oh, there's Saturday games this week. Atlanta plays the Giants. All right. So Michael Penix might come in and get a win in his first try.
Wouldn't that be something? Okay, so tomorrow night.
Oh, all right, I guess that is it for it. Yeah. All right, Broncos at Chargers.
Picking the Chargers.
I
Because
am
somehow
too.
I got drawn back into the Bengals have a chance to make the playoffs.
Are you drinking your own Kool-Aid, Andy?
I'm drinking other people's Kool-Aid. It's not mine. I've been throwing it out all season. Been like, nope, this one's over.
Texans at Chiefs.
I think that the Chiefs are going to win. Like, it's been a weird sophomore season for Stroud, and I just think that the Chiefs in the NFL don't need help. They're just going to find ways to win games.
They have won all their wins this year, and they haven't scored more than 30 points in one game.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Steelers, Ravens. I'm going Baltimore.
I was going to say, dude, it feels like Baltimore.
Giants, Falcons. I kind of made my pick a second ago. I'm taking the Falcons and Michael Penix.
I will too.
Do we got to talk about the next one?
Not if you don't want to.
I don't have to. I feel like this will be very bad for Caleb Williams.
I hope so. Just not necessarily that I hope anything bad for him. I hope this Lions team just isn't going to fall apart because of all the injuries. That's my number one concern.
All right, Battle of Ohio. Well, if you're riding the Bengals, have a hope, then you're picking the Bengals, which I don't think you'd pick them not over DTR anyway.
Yeah.
Me too. Titans at Colts. Sorry, I don't care if it's mayonnaise man, Mason Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer or what. It ain't happening. Nope, Colts.
I think I agree.
Rams at Jets. Every time this year I pick against those teams coming cross country and all that.
It doesn't work.
Not this week. Not this week. No, Rams.
Picking the Rams.
Yep.
Yep, me too.
Eagles, Commanders.
I think that Daniels is going to play better this time.
All right. We have not disagreed yet. Cardinals, Panthers.
I've been riding this Bryce Young hype train for a little while.
Are you getting off?
No.
Okay, we finally disagree on one. I'll take the Cardinals. Vikings, Seahawks.
I want to pick the Vikings because I'm a Sam Darnold guy, but it feels like the Seahawks might get this one.
All right, so we disagree on 2 in a row. I don't think we're going to disagree on that one.
And if so, it's just, I tell you what, man, I need to stop. If I'm wrong about that Vikings game, I just need to stop underestimating Kevin O'Connell. You're right, the Bills.
Do we have to pick that game?
Is it possible?
Is it battle for the first pick?
Maybe. Looks like it.
Oh.
I'd say I want both teams to lose, but
Are you picking the tie?
I think I'm picking the Raiders to lose.
Okay.
Not necessarily the Jaguars to win, but the Raiders to lose.
I think Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Desmond Ritter. That's where I'll go. Niners, Dolphins.
I'm going to go Niners.
We're just back to agreeing with everything. Bucks, Cowboys.
Bucks.
Yep. And then the Saints and Packers.
I got to hope that the Cowboys lose every game the rest of the season so that someone's able to convince Jerry Jones that they can't pick a running back in the first round. That's my goal for the rest of the season.
You just don't want him to pick Genty.
1 billion, trillion, quadrillion, septillion %.
Saints and Packers. I'm going to take the Packers by, what is that? They got the spread at, 14 and a half? I was going to say they win by 3 scores. I'll say 3 touchdowns, but yeah. I think that this Packers team, they looked good last week. The defense has been good. Jordan Love has not turned the ball over. I don't think he's had a turnover since like week 7 or 8. I think I heard him say on Monday Night Football. Was it Monday or Sunday Night Football?
It's funny that you said that because he threw an interception.
Oh, he did throw one in that game?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I looked at the it's in reverse order. So the last time he threw a pick was against the Bears.
Okay.
That was a month ago. A month ago yesterday.
All right.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I mean, it's not going to be for any lack of, because Spencer Rattler is going to do anything in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Derek Carr going to the bench, or I think he actually moved him to the IR. Yeah, Spencer Rattler is not going to do anything. He was quarterback at South Carolina.
Yes, and then he was also one of the guys that was.
Oh, he did transfer
in Oklahoma for a little while.
That is right. I forgot about that.
I think he started in Oklahoma. And Caleb took his job, right? I think that's how it happened. Caleb took his job. Pretty sure. But all right, I guess that's going to do it for this week's episode of Play by Play. I am your host, Andy Horton, alongside my co-host, Jared Bergstrom.